Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday, March 23rd edition of the MMAOB Daily Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Adam Martin. There's big Marcel Dorff over there in Holland. What's going on, big man?
All good, man. Same as yesterday, man. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah, exactly. Same here. Busy day, another busy day, man. So much happened today, actually, in the news. I just saw Cole just posted the story, BJ Penn. Kamzat Chimaev just announced his return to the sport, which is awesome. Good to hear that. I knew he was coming back anyways. That was that was the worst retirement ever. He's in his prime, man. You know, once he gets better, he's going to come back and smash people. And then some other stuff happened. A lot of things went on. But, man, we got a card to break down. And I'm so excited about it. But before we get to that card, we got a question here from Mr. Cole Shelton, the guy who just wrote the story I talked about. Quick response to Marcel. Okay, here we go. Sandhagen is lucky Yan Sterling ended the way it did because Yan was on his way to winning and fighting TJ. Yan made it clear that's who he wanted. UFC would have booked that fight. What do you think?
Stop boring me out, Cole Shelton. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's possible.
I think it just worked out better anyways. You know, I think that, I mean, that's not like I want to see the rematch by any means. Like, I think Yan would have won that fight, but I like the TJ Corey Sandhagen fight. I think that's a great fight, and, you know, there's a lot of backstory between that fight. But honestly, we don't have time to talk about too much stuff other than this card because we do have like 10 fights to get to. There's one fight between Shane Young and Omar Morales, which is really just like we don't know if it's even happening. So I'm not going to break that down today. What do you say?
Iridium Sports Agency posted that Anthony Burchak will fight at UFC 260. So I wonder what's up with that.
SureDog reported yesterday that fight was on, and then someone else reported Fighter Path guy said it wasn't happening. Anyways, we're not going to break down that fight, but we have a lot of other fights to get to. I think we should just get right into it, Marcel, because we got an hour here. Let's just get into it. I'm going to start with the middleweights here. Marc-Andre Barriault taking on Abu Azaitar. It's an interesting fight to kick off the card here, Marcel. Right now, a slight favorite at the sportsbook, Marc-Andre Barriault, minus 130 I'm seeing out there, and then Abu Azaitar plus 110. What's your thoughts on this fight to open up UFC 260?
Oh, man. I mean, the typical curtain jerker, I'd say. You know, Barriault hasn't looked great in the UFC at all. He came from TKO. He was a double champ over there, I think. He looked good against Pihota, but who doesn't? I mean, hasn't looked great in the UFC at all. Did it thought there was potential or his hype? What he bring with when he came from TKO? Abu Azaitar only fought once in the UFC. He got like 4 or 3 canceled bouts. He fought in the WSOF before. I'm also not really high on Abu Azaitar, man, but I mean, who knows? I'm going with Azaitar TKO third round.
Wow. I mean, this fight, it's a middleweight fight, right? But I gotta be honest, I really like Barriault in this fight, guys. I really like him here. I think he's the better fighter pretty much everywhere, to be honest with you. Like, if you look at his fights, they were super close losses, man. So, like, really pretty good competition. Not the best, obviously, but the Jocko fight was very close. That was, you know, if he had that win, he would have been in the top 15. It was a close fight. His last win, he looked good in that fight. He's training at Sanford MMA. I love that move for him, man. The power bar at Sanford, if you go to his Instagram, he's training with Rumble Johnson right now, guys. Like, I love that. Abu Azaitar hasn't fought in 3 years. Here's the other thing about him. He does have power in his hands, right? We know that. But his wrestling's not great. That Vitor Miranda fight is a very close fight. Vitor Miranda took him down. Vitor Miranda is a Muay Thai fighter, not a wrestler. Also, his cardio is not good. He hasn't fought in 3 years either. Man, I like Barriault in this fight, honestly. To kick off the card,
Okay.
I like Canadian here, man. I actually feel pretty strong about him here, to be honest with you.
Okay,
I know
you
he doesn't have a good.
me.
Yeah, I know his record sucks in the UFC, right? It's like Bruno Silva last week. I feel like, you know, that's a guy that he's good enough to get a win in the UFC. This is a guy I'm fading, Azaitar. 3-year layoff. I'm fading that every time. He does look good in the pictures, guys. If you look at him, he looks bricked up, but that could also affect his cardio. The only way he wins this fight is by first round knockout. I don't see it happening. I think that Barriault grinds him out, man. I like Barriault. I don't know if he gets a knockout, but I think he grinds him out against the cage and stuff. Like, just that's how he fights, man. He grinds you against the fence. I'm going to start it off with the Canadian here. All right, next fight, man. This is another good fight. I like this one a lot. Miranda Maverick taking on Jillian Robertson. Right now, Maverick, slight favorite, minus 160. Robertson, plus 140, man. Give me your thoughts on this one. Also, Kevin, I'm just using Wikipedia or whatever. That's what I'm using right now. Go ahead on this one, Robertson Maverick.
The bot order is absolutely
because
nobody knows.
Yeah. Exactly. Go ahead.
Nobody knows. Yeah, Jillian Robertson. I remember when we first broke down this fight, like, 1 month ago, I picked Jill Robertson, but I've been looking further into this fight, and man, I'm kind of switching here, man. I think Miranda Maverick can do it. I mean, Jill Robertson, I think she's a pretty decent fighter, but I've been not been impressed lately, man, at all. I mean, Santos easily decisioned her. Poliana Botelho, she's not that bad, but don't think she is top 15 girl. Poliana Botelho. I remember she pretty much dominated Courtney Casey, right? I was kind of surprised by
Me
that. I
too.
have Courtney Casey
Mhm.
in that fight. So, but you also saw she lost to Barber before she lost to Bueno Silva. Miranda Maverick, she did great in her UFC debut against Liana Jojua, and she did very well in Invicta as well. So, I mean, stylistically, I also think Maverick has the edge here. So I go with Maverick's decision.
I feel the same way. I like it too, man. I think she's a better fighter. She's a better mixed martial artist. She's more complete. Julian Robertson's a one-trick pony. She's got a great ground game. I mean, it's amazing. It's one of the best in the division. It's really dominant when she's on top. When she's on the bottom, as we saw in the last fight, she's not good. Maverick's improved her wrestling. You can look back at some of her earlier losses. She did get out wrestled, but she's a young fighter. I think she's 23, and she's improving rapidly. If you watch her last few fights in Invicta in that tournament, right? Like everyone's saying she's on a 4-fight win streak, but you're forgetting those 2 other wins she had. They were 1-round fights. So she's actually on a 6-fight win streak. She has a lot of momentum coming in here. I like her, man. I think she's way better striker, no doubt about it. Julian Robertson, her takedown setups is not that great either. Like she doesn't really have great wrestling. She's able to like get you down, but mostly because her opponents want to go to the ground with her. Like Courtney Casey welcomes that. And that was the fight where I was like, man, she's really good. But since then, she hasn't looked great, Marcel, in my opinion. And I like Maverick here, guys. She looked outstanding in her UFC debut, I thought. It's unfortunate that fight was stopped. I think that was a really bad doctor stoppage. I truly believe that fight was stopped because Liana Jojua is a female fighter, not a male fighter. I don't think that fight should have been stopped. But yeah, I mean, overall, I'm just impressed by Maverick. A lot of people are on Robertson, a lot of smart people, but I don't see it, man. Unless she's just a way better like wrestler than I ever saw in the video, I don't think she's going to get this fight to the ground very easily. And even if she does, I think Maverick's going to be able to like kind of be equal with her. So yeah, I'm with you, Marcel. I kind of like Maverick by decision. What's the odds on that? Let me take a look at that. What was Barrio by decision? Because I don't know. I mean, he could finish Aztor because Aztor does have gas issues, but what's that? Barrio decision. Where is that? Can't even see it. It's so hard to, man, this thing it's really unorganized sometimes that there it is, plus 200. There's no value in that. And then we both like Maverick by decision. I'm assuming it's going to be terrible odds too. Yeah, plus 140. You're better off just, playing her there. But I mean, listen, a lot of people are in Robertson here, and I get it. I mean, she does have great top game. It's amazing. Like, sure, submissions are amazing, but I've noticed that the UFC matchmakers are doing that, right? What? They want to see complete fighters now. They're matching you up against fighters that are the opposite skill set of you and seeing if you can match them. It's happening. Mm-hmm. This is what they're doing here. They're trying to see, hey, Jillian, can you match a girl that probably can match you in the wrestling, and can you outstrike her, and can you out-wrestle her? And I don't know if she can. So, and then Daniel says something that's funny. Yeah, I don't know. That was a bad stoppage. All right, let's go to the next fight here. Again, using the Wikipedia order. Okay, Modestas Bukauskas against Michael Alexiak. It's an interesting fight. In the light heavyweight division here, Marcel. Right now we got Alexiak's a small favorite here. He's about minus 150, minus 160, and then Bukauskas plus 130 underdog. Give me your thoughts on this one. Take your time, man. I mean, I think we're going a little bit too fast, to be honest with you. I didn't notice. It's only been 8 minutes. I mean, there's only 10 fights in the card. So just, take your time with this one. But Bukauskas and Alexiak.
So you want me to take my time? Okay.
Yeah, take your time. We have a lot of time. We have 50 minutes left. So
let me get my Usman voice here. Modestas Bukauskas, an amazing fighter from England. Sorry, man, I'm just kidding with you, man. You don't give me such a serious face. Light heavyweight fighter from England. He's actually from Lithuania, right? He had a good UFC debut against Andreas Michailidis, which had a weird thing with on the cage. You remember that?
You know what? What do you think? What do you think of that stoppage? Because the guy opened the door and he fell out of it, right?
Yeah, weird as fuck, man. I mean, he fell behind and somebody left the door open, and then the ref said it's over. It was really weird. But yeah, I mean, his second fight against Jimmy Crute, I think he was outmatched there. I think Jimmy Crute was just a level above him at this moment of time. for the UFC, look good in Cage Warriors, man. I really liked him in Cage Warriors. He was champ over there and also defending champ. So I think he did very well. I watched his fights over there. Really good fighter overall. Mikhail Oleksiejczuk lost his last two fights. Also a loss against Jimmy Crute. OSP lost by Van Vluchok. I still don't know how people keep getting caught with that. I have no idea. But the thing is, this is a good matchup, I think, for Modestas. I think it's also for Mikhail Oleksiejczuk a good matchup because both guys are pretty equal to each other if it comes to how they fight. I think if Modestas can make sure he not get knocked out in the first round, he will probably get the decision here. I think he has better cardio over Oleksiejczuk. And Oleksiejczuk always goes for the quick finish, man. Besides his fight against Khalil Roundtree, where both were heavily gassed, he won that fight, but it was overturned to no contest. I'm taking Modestas Bukauskas via unanimous decision after 3 rounds.
Wow, yeah, you know what? This is definitely an interesting fight. Both guys are talented, no doubt about it. Oleksiak, I think he probably is the better overall striker. To be honest with you, like. He has really good hands. There's no doubt about it. We've seen that a few times in the UFC. He goes to the body, goes to the head. He's got nasty hands. But the thing is, man, he only has 5 minutes of cardio. He's going to gas out if he doesn't. And, man, Valerie, I just said the same thing. Me and her, we got it going together. So she's right. I mean, his hands are good, but the cardio is terrible. And we saw that in the last fight against OSP. He gassed out hard and got submitted with the Von flu. And Marcel's still confused how that happened. But, I just think the cardio is a huge issue with this guy. But he's talented, man. We saw that the Khalil Roundtree fight. He was juiced up, though, for that fight. I will say that. He was juiced up. He missed a few years after that. But, coming off 2 straight losses here, Marcel, he hasn't fought in a year either. I looked at his Instagram. He looked good in his pictures. But I still feel like he's a little bit undersized, to be honest with you, for light heavyweight. Modestas is a bigger guy here. He does have 3 or more inches in height and 4 inches in reach as well. Modestas is a pretty good striker as well. And yeah, I agree, Daniel. Exactly. Modestas, good striker. Great takedown defense. We've seen that. He does have those downward elbows right against the fence. He's knocked a few guys out with those. He's nasty. So this fight's going to, I think, play on the feet. Honestly, yeah, I'm with you completely. I was about to say the same thing. This is a great spot for under 2.5 where the fight does not go the distance. I don't think this fight goes the distance, guys. Someone's getting finished, I think, in the first round. See, Marcel, honestly, if you watch Bukauskas' fight, I don't think when was the last time he gone the distance? It's been years. He doesn't go the distance. His fights end inside and same with Oleksiak. This is more about Oleksiak's cardio just being really bad. He could get the first round knockout though. So I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna pick Bukauskas as well, actually. Marcel, I'm with you on this one too. There we go. I like him here. Because of those physical factors. I still feel like Michael's a little bit small for this division. But he could get that knockout. So I'm looking at the under as well. Haven't made any bets. I'll tell you guys. Well, that'll be on Friday with the Elite Podcast with Duke. But right now, that's something I'm definitely looking at. I'll say that. That's for sure. I think there's going to be a finish in this fight. But I'm with Marcel for a pick. I'm going to actually lean towards the underdog a little bit here. Modestas Bukauskas. Let's go to the next fight here. Interesting fight. Jared Gooden against Abubakar Nurmagomedov. The Bubakar minus 225, Marcel. He's a pretty big favorite, actually. This card has a lot of really closely lined fights, guys, which I love. I prefer fights that are like pick 'em fights. I like breaking down those fights more because you have to just make a good pick, right? And this fight is one of the ones that have lopsided odds. But I got to be honest with you, man. How could you trust this guy at minus 225? I don't think you can. Jared Gooden at plus 190. I'm assuming you're picking Abubakar, but do you think Gooden has a chance here? Give me your thoughts on this fight, Marcel.
Man, by the way, I just see Olivier Aubert-Mercier is out of the PFL tournament and he will be replaced by Roche Manfio, which kind of sucks. I was really looking forward to see OAM in the tournament, but I know. Sorry, I have to keep it on topic.
That's okay.
Okay. Yeah, we had enough time.
Yeah, Kenny Florian signed with. I was going to do news at the end actually, but yeah, Kenny Florian signed with PFL today too to be a commentator, not to fight, just for commentary.
Yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah, I'm happy, but he's good. He's good. Just hopefully he doesn't plagiarize again. Remember that? That was pretty funny. Give me your thoughts on this fight, though, Marcel. Abubakar is a decent sized favorite against Gooden.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit too much. If you see Abubakar in his UFC debut against David Zawada, he got tapped by a triangle choke, which I called Zawada winning. The one of my best calls in 2019, but it was an awful year for me, so I was pretty proud of that. So Before that, he fought in PFL, right? He didn't win the tournament. I remember he got upset by Pavel Kush, right, in the beginning of
Yep.
the tournament. Many people had him winning, and he got also tapped there. So um, it's hard, because Jared Gooden, he's an okay fighter, but I mean, he lost to Alan Jouban in a fun fight, I think. Ah, man, it's such a hard fight to pick. It's really closer than many people will
Mhm.
probably think, but I would go with Nurmagomedov, but I'm absolutely not sure with this pick. Let me be honest here. I'll go with him. Let's say I'm going with split decision.
Oh wow, there you go. It's a close one, huh? The
Yeah,
Japan fight could have been a split decision. It was unanimous, but that was a super close fight.
yeah.
All right, so here's the thing. I really want to go with Gooden, right? I really want to because the odds are great, plus 190, and I think he definitely has a puncher's chance. Like if the fight stays on the feet, he's the better striker in my opinion, for sure.
Mm.
But his takedown defense is just not great. I watched a lot of his fights, guys. I watched all of his fights like at NFC. I was watching that stuff just to see how his takedown defense is. And even if in some of his wins he got taken down by guys that are just not great. Generally, he's performed well in the regional scene, but man, the competition has not been really great for Gooden. He's got good power though. We've seen that, and he's explosive, man. He had like a flying knee I saw in one fight. I think he was losing the fight, came back with a flying knee. So he's got power. There's no doubt about it. Here's the thing about Nurmagomedov. He's flaky, guys. Don't bet on this guy. No way. You can't. Marcel, this guy, if you had bet him in a first Kush, he was a huge favorite. It was one of the biggest upsets of all time. Literally one of the biggest ever. The closing odds, minus 1,600 he lost at. Oh my God. Yeah, I remember that was a huge upset against Kush. How could you trust this guy? And then he lost against Zawada, and he was a favorite there as well. He was minus 335. And against Velikovic, that fight was a draw, Marcel, and he was a huge favorite too. This guy is not, guys, he's not Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's not Umar Nurmagomedov. He's Abubakar Nurmagomedov, and he's really not that great, I don't think. He's got decent wrestling, and I believe it will be enough for him to win the fight ultimately, but I would not bet on him here. I'm going to pick him by decision too, Marcel. That is plus money, though. I did notice that prop is plus money. I think that's how he wins this fight, guys, because Gooden's got really good takedown defense. Not takedown defense. It's not great, but he's not bad at like defending submissions and stuff. So he probably goes the distance. That's what I'm thinking here. But that's if Nurmagomedov wins. Otherwise, he's right. I mean, Gooden has had the distance. That would be how he would win this fight. He would knock out, I believe, Nurmagomedov. Maybe tap him out. He does have some submission wins too. He's not great. He's more of a guy that would hurt you on the feet and then he would submit you. Gooden inside distance plus 450. I mean, listen, if you're on there's going to be a lot of people going on Gooden here at plus 190. I tell you, or plus 200 is going to be probably soon. A lot of people take him. I just don't think the takedown defense is there, guys. So I'm staying away from this one, probably, Marcel. And Valerie's saying, yeah, the damage. I mean, listen, like it could be a close fight too. Like no doubt about it. If his takedown defense is on point, he's going to make it a very, very close fight. I do think he has a striking advantage, but overall, I just don't think he can stop the takedowns, guys. Even though I don't think Abubakar is amazing with them, I think it's probably going to be enough against Gooden. Like, if you watch the Michael Graves fight, he got wrestled by that guy, and he's smaller than him, right? So that's concerning to me. So I guess we're, well, we did have, did you pick Azator or Barrio in the first fight? Did you switch your pick?
I'm thinking about it, man. I don't know yet.
He hasn't made his final. You have till, I think, Friday anyways for the staff picks.
Yeah.
But other ones we seem to agree on. What about this fight, though? I mean, this is another interesting fight. I know Valerie's in the chat. Give me your thoughts on this one, Valerie. The women's strawweight bout. Jessica Penne making her comeback after a 4-year layoff, Marcel, due to USADA issues, taking on Hannah Goldie's coming back after almost a 2-year layoff. She's also dropping back down to 115. Her last fight was at 125. That's worth noting. Right now, the odds are close for this one. It's almost a pick 'em. Goldie's minus 120, and then Penne plus 100. What's your thoughts on this one, man? It's a former Invicta champion taking on a young prospect here. What do you think?
I mean, Jessica Penne's last win is against Randa Marcos, a split decision at the Ultimate Fighter finale, man. And that was Randa Marcos' debut and Penne's debut. That's crazy. How long ago that is. I think it was still in school back then. I have no idea. But that's a long time ago. She only fought 3 times. She had a lot of problems with USADA and with injuries, right? Hannah Goldie, only 1 fight so far in the UFC, 2019, also some time ago. Came from the Contender Series, didn't got signed, but got signed right after. Man, I mean, this is very hard fight to pick, and that's simply because I don't think Hannah Goldie is that great, but I also think Jessica Penne is that great anymore. But then I go with youth, and I think I go with Hannah Goldie, a decision here. But man, such a hard fight to pick.
You know what, man? I agree with you on this one too. I like Goldie too, guys, in this fight. You know, it's you guys know I always bet against old. I love betting against old fighters. I love it. She's 38 years old, hasn't fought in 4 years. This is a great spot to bet against Jessica Penne at -120. It's a great spot, I think. I'm not saying Hannah Goldie's amazing by any means. She's not. She's going to lose to a lot of fighters in the UFC, but I think she beats this version of Jessica Penne. I don't think she's going to have much. I know she's training online. She's training with Angela Hill. I get that. She hasn't fought in 4 years, and she looked terrible in the last couple fights. She has no wrestling either. That's the thing. Like, I was thinking, like, maybe she can out-grapple her. Unless she's really worked on her wrestling the last 4 years, she's going to have a struggle taking out Goldie. Goldie's extremely physically strong. Like, she looks like a little tank, Marcel. She's jacked, man. She's super strong. So even if Penne gets in the clinch, I don't think she's going to be able to take this girl down. And I'm not saying this girl's striking is good at all, but you know what, man? Like, I don't think Penne has any striking whatsoever. She's only good really on the ground if she gets it there. That's the only place that's how she beat Marcos. But Marcos wants to go to the ground with you, right? Like, she's a grappler too. So the last few girls that fought her, Danielle Taylor, this is like a very similar fight, man. Danielle Taylor is just able to be faster and just move around. You know what? Listen, I know Goldie looked pretty bad in that last fight in the UFC against Granger, but that was up a weight class. And Miranda Granger was a really good prospect, and she has lost a few fights, but one of them was to Amanda Lemos, who's really good, and the other fight was to Yoder, who she should have beaten. But I don't think that's a bad loss. And she does have a win over Jillian Robertson. She looked great in that fight, and that fight is also similar to this fight, guys. Again, watching that fight, Jillian had no takedown ability whatsoever. Goldie stuffed every takedown. Listen, I know Robbins did take her down a few times, but she got up every time. That's the only real thing I could see Penne winning, because I know she has the reach advantage. She doesn't use it though. She doesn't really have much on the feet, no power. I'm not saying Goldie is either, but yeah, I think this fight goes the distance. I'll say that, go the distance. That's -330. I mean, -260 to go the distance. That's not terrible, honestly. I don't see a finish in this fight personally, but yeah, I like. I'm leaning towards Goldie here. I mean, -120 is not bad. Straight wager. Wouldn't wager Goldie. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's not an easy fight to call, but I did as much research as I could in both fighters. I watched as many fights as I could on both of them. And I do like Goldie a little bit in this fight. But, there's a lot of concerns too. I haven't made any bets yet by any means, but I lean towards her. I mean, guys, I bet against these old fighters, like these old WEC Invicta fighters that were good 10 years ago, Marcel. I love betting against them. And, in her case, I think she fought at Bellator 1. I believe she was on the first Bellator card. So she's been around forever, man. I can't trust her. 38 years old, hasn't fought in 4 years, Marcel. That's a spot I bet against every single time. Even if it's Hannah Goldie, I think. I haven't made a bet yet, but I'm considering it. I'm not going to lie. We'll see. Penne fought for the title 3 fights. Yeah, and, she got smashed in that fight with Joanna, man. And I know it's Joanna, and Andrade smashed her too. Taylor outboxed her. I mean, she just doesn't have anything on the feet, I don't think.
Adam, this Invicta won.
Invicta won. Yeah, but no, she fought Bellator, dude. Look at her record.
Yeah, but not Bellator 1, I think. Bellator 5.
Bellator 5. I mean, it's still first season, though. That's amazing. She's been around forever, though. I mean, that's the point, she's an old veteran. I love betting against these fighters. And I don't think Goldie's a great fighter, but this is just a spot where it's a 10-year age gap, right? I love that. So it's almost an automatic for me. Let's go to the next fight here. This is another close. I mean, this one's actually a pick 'em, I think. Yeah, -110 each. Whoa, Marcel, give me your thoughts on this one. I mean, a lot of people are having trouble picking it. I kind of have a lean towards one guy. What are your thoughts on this one? Lonzo Menefield, William Knight, guys, -110 each. Give me your thoughts on this one, guys.
Yeah, this is actually a horrible fight to pick, to be honest, man. I think it's very equal to Menefield goes always for the quick knockout, and if he doesn't get it, he kind of runs out of gas, man. And that's a big problem for him in the UFC so far. We saw it in the Devin Clark fight, we saw it in the Oven St. Preux fight. Pretty much in every fight he lost in the UFC, he ran out of gas after the first round. And because he had Devin Clark hurt, man, in the first round, but Devin Clark turned it around and he hurt him. And he got him. And same for OSP. William Knight, I remember him fighting, what's that? Herman Alchabek 2 seasons ago in the Contender Series. And he won in the 3rd round. So they gave him that how do you say that? That contract, how do you say
developmental
deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He won three. He fought 3 times outside the UFC. Then lost the one against Tafon and Chukwi at the CFFC. Came back contender series. Actually, didn't look good in the first moment against Cody Brundage, but turned it around and won the first round. Then defeat Alexa Kamor. Wasn't a great fight in my opinion, but he showed he can win over 3 rounds, which Alonzo Benefield hasn't shown me yet. So the most how do you say that? The most common pick probably is to go with William Knight here because Alonso Manifield only has 1 round to win it probably. So I would go with William Knight, maybe by TKO in the second round.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, I mean, I actually kind of lean the same way in this one too, Marcel. It seems like we're on the same page with a lot of these fights. I think he's got a big advantage in the grappling in this fight, guys. Alonzo Manfield's grappling is not great. We saw that against Devin Clark, really struggled in the clinch. That's a place where Knight, I think, could do some damage. He is a little bit small for this division. I will say that. Maybe he could somehow get to 185. So Manifield might be a little bigger, but you hit the nail on the head, Marcel. He has 5 minutes of cardio. He could get a first-round knockout. I mean, that's why the line's close like this, right? Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Manifield went out there and knocked him out, obviously. Manifield's a beast, man. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. He knocked out Paul Craig, great win. But he's struggled in the last few fights, guys. Like, and I picked against him the OSP fight. OSP was an underdog in that one. I picked OSP, and he knocked him out. And I was surprised he got knocked out. I thought OSP would like kind of maybe submit him or something or grind him out. He knocked him out, so that concerned me too. And he looked like he was really tired in the second round when he got KO'd. So, yeah, I'm with you, Marcel. I think you're right. Knight has good cardio, guys. It's really good. We saw that against the Allen back guy, right, Marcel? He was losing that fight. Marcel came back with like 20 seconds left in the third round. It was really impressive. And you know what? The Nchukwi fight, actually, that stoppage is a little iffy. I watched the fight again. It's a little iffy, guys. So, this guy's pretty good. I mean, he's not an amazing fighter by any means. I don't think he's going to be like a champion at 205 by any means. But, I think maybe these guys are fighting for their job, and, it should be a pretty good scrap. It's tough. I mean, you're saying a knockout. I don't know, because he won the decision against Alexa Kamor, and that's the fight where I thought he looked really good in, by the way, with the wrestling, Marcel. He looked very good in that fight, and that's where I think he'll have the advantage in this fight too. If he just grinds Manifield against the fence like Clark did, takes him to the ground, that's kind of what I'm thinking. But you look at the odds, guys, it's pick 'em because Manifield can knock him out in the first round, and the odds on Manifield by KO are plus 150. If you like, look at this, Manifield first round knockout plus 350. If that's what you like, take that, I think, because I don't think he would win outside the first round. I don't think he ever has, but he is super dangerous. Like, he's one of those guys, like, even though I think Knight's the better fighter, Marcel, the fight with Deshaun Boatwright, this guy can literally walk across the fence, across the cage, punch you once and knock you out. And that's what he did in that fight. So even though Knight's the better fighter, he could still lose this fight because this guy has that kind of power. But I think he's the better mixed martial artist, guys, so I'm going to go with William Knight here. I was thinking decision, but I think Marcel might be about maybe a TKO, actually, just because Manifield's probably going to get tired, right? That's plus 175. I don't like the odds on that, really. I wouldn't even touch those props unless you took Manifield first round knockout, maybe. Or what's Knight in the Is anyone there? Can you guys type in the chat if anyone's here? Feels like I just got cut out. What happened here? Marcel. Oh, there he is. We got cut out. What happened there? I don't know what happened. You got cut out.
No, it's the screen freeze for me, so I leave and I came back. So
okay, no worries. I got cut out too, though. I don't know what happened. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. This is technology issues. But I was saying, did you hear me say Knight by third round knockout? I was looking at maybe plus 1,000, like maybe.
Possible,
great. Sorry about that, guys. No idea what happened there. Over 1.5. Yeah, that's another one I'm looking at, actually, because I think Knight maybe can just grind on him, right? What's the odds on that? Minus 145. It's tough. Something to think about. Yeah. Don't blame Marcel. Yeah, I know. I thought it was me too. All right, next fight here. All right, that's it for the prelims. I mean, right now we have 6 fights. What was the other fight that they were saying? Burchak and Morales? Would that be the fight then?
I think it's still. I think Morales is still fighting Young, but Young tested negative yesterday, so he's still in the running to fight Morales. But maybe Burchak is something like a backup. But it would be weird, man.
Mhm.
It's like 155 or 145. Now I don't know. So
Yep.
I don't know. You want to break down Morales against Young? I don't mind if you want to.
I didn't watch the tape on it, man. I can't because
Okay, no, okay, no
I'm gonna
problem.
save it for Thursday. I don't even want to give a pick because I
For
didn't break it
sure,
down.
no problem.
I'll
No
save it for
problem.
Thursday when AJ comes on with me, and because again, I really have no idea. It's not even listed really. All right, let's go to the.
Uh,
Well, let's take the other guy here. This fight, I was a little concerned might get scratched too, the Jamie Malarkey fight, but this looks like it's still on against Kama Worthy for the main card, Marcel. And again, they said on the last show they were adding a fight to the main card, right? Like, so we're still waiting on that fight, but is it
yeah, probably
coming?
bump one up.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They said we're adding another fight. Yeah, right. Okay. But we do have this fight, and this one looks like it's going to be good to go. Jamie Malarkey against Kama Worthy in the lightweight division. Man, these odds are really close. You know, Kama Worthy open, I think, he opened at minus 190. And right now, it's basically close to a pick 'em. We have Worthy minus 120 now. Wow, the odds are really dropping. And Malarkey plus 100. What do you think about this one, man?
Dude, the funny thing is Jamie Malarkey looks 34 and he is 24, and Kamaworthy looks 24 and he's 34. But no disrespect to Malarkey, by the way. Yeah, I mean Malarkey, he had 2 fights so far in the UFC. I like his fight against Brett Riddell. I think it was also a fight of the night. It was a fun fight to watch. Riddell was just a little bit better and deservedly won. But just say it like it is. He got robbed in the second fight, man. I think he clearly won the fight against
Yeah.
Varazian. Should be 1-on-1 in the UFC. Has looked pretty decent so far, man. In the UFC, he wrestled a lot against Yam, and he didn't get how do you say that? He didn't get the credits for that, I think. Kama Worthy, very good debut on very short notice against Devontae Smith, which was one of the biggest upsets of 2019, I think. I think Smith was a huge favorite in that one.
Mm-hmm.
Was MMA DNA's debut of the year, by the way. Hey, gotta give some.
That was like the upset of the year, man. That was a huge upset. Yeah,
definitely, I agree. Then he went against Luis Pena in a fight where he was 0-2 going into the third round. So last fight lost to Upman Azata pretty quick. It's difficult, man. If Kama Worthy lands, he can knock out Malarkey. But if he doesn't land and he gets smothered with the ground game of Malarkey, he's in big trouble. And I think that's going to happen. I think Malarkey is going to play it safe. He's 0-2 in the UFC. He's going to play this smart. You're going to take him down, and you're going to grind him out for 3 rounds.
Yeah, this was a good fight. I mean, the odds are close. Worthy open is, like I said, pretty decent favorite, but people seem to be liking Malarkey. I'll be honest. I think the odds makers open it maybe a little bit too high, too. I think it's a very close fight. I'm leaning towards Malarkey, too, though, because I think he has the better grappling. So I'm with you on this one, too.
Yeah.
But Worthy's got decent grappling. It's not terrible. Like, his takedown defense is not great, but he is able to like sweep you and get on top of you. And he does have that nasty choke we saw in the last fight. So he can actually finish you on the ground too. He's dangerous, but I just think Malarkey's shown a lot on the ground in all of his fights, to be honest with you. Like, I watched all his fights in that Brace promotion, I think it's called, in Australia. They're on Fight Pass. I watched all of them. Every single fight, he goes right into the clinch and takes you to the ground. That's exactly what it is every fight, Marcel, except for the Brad Riddell fight where he couldn't take him down. And he got boxed up. But you know what? Here's what I took from that fight. That fight, by the way, is an incredible fight. Amazing fight.
Yeah.
He has a great chin, man. Like, he took some bombs in that fight. He's got a way better chin than Kama Worthy. I don't think Worthy can finish him, to be honest with you, with punches. I know Worthy's got power. I know he does, but I think that Malarkey would have the better chin. And to be honest with you, Malarkey landed some really good shots on Brad Riddell, too, in that fight. And you know what? Look at me, lockout losses Worthy has, right? He's got a lot of them. I wouldn't be completely shocked if Malarkey actually KO'd Worthy. It wouldn't surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised either way if someone got finished in this fight. But at the same time, I'm kind of with you in that he probably just grinds it out, plays it safe. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm thinking too. But this is definitely an interesting fight. And like I said, Worthy's got the power. We saw the submissions too, man. Like, he's a dangerous guy. He's a good fighter. He deserves to be in the UFC for sure. It's just kind of not a great matchup, I don't think, because Malarkey does have that great ground game. And that fight with ZM, come on, man. That's such a bad decision by the judges. I can't believe it was unanimous, too. I was very surprised. Like, in the third round, right? Like, he definitely won that round. So he should be 1-1. I'm with him, with Marcel on that one, too. All right. Well, with this fight, Marcel, let's see. We've been on the page of most of the fights so far. Maybe just the first one. That's it. That's nice to have a little bit of difference. I like that. But this fight. What about this one, man? Sean O'Malley making his comeback after that ankle injury or whatever against Chito Vera, against Thomas Almeida here, who's also coming back after the loss to Jonathan Martinez's last fight. Sean O'Malley's a huge favorite, man. Minus 320 and plus 270 actually on Almeida. What do you think about this one, man? You trust O'Malley here as a big favorite, or you think Almeida can maybe pull it off as an underdog?
Hey, Dana, Mick, Sean, we're seeing what you're doing here. We're seeing it. You know, Thomas Almeida had a lot of hype when he was in the UFC before his Cody fight. He was going to be the next big thing, remember? And he got knocked out by Cody. And after that, he has never been returned the same. You know, he won against Albert Morales, but he lost 3 straight after that. I know it was against good opponents, but I mean, if a future title contenders, you should be winning against Jonathan Martinez, and he got pretty much Jonathan Martinez. He had nothing on Jonathan Martinez, man. So Sean O'Malley, we know he got knockout power. We also know that his ground game isn't as great, I think. We haven't seen a lot of it, but I don't think it's that great what I've seen so far. He lost to Marlon Vera in the last fight. Before that, he won against Quinones and Wineland. Those were fights I expected him to win, to be honest.
Yep.
Yeah, the thing is, I really think the UFC thinks that Almeida isn't the same guy anymore that he was, and that he is a great name to have on the record for Sean O'Malley, and that's why they made this fight. Is Almeida not the same guy anymore? He's definitely not the same guy anymore, man. I mean, after 4 more fights, I only saw him win against Albert Morales, and in all the other 3 fights where he fought against promising contenders, good fighters, he didn't show it at all. He didn't show it against Jimmy Rivera. He didn't do it against Rob Font, and he definitely didn't do it in his last fight. So it's pretty clear to me that Sean O'Malley's going to win. I don't know how he's going to win, but he's going to win this fight. And UFC wants him to win this fight. It's pretty obvious, man. That's why they made this fight.
Mm-hmm. They did, but that doesn't mean he's going to win. You know, just because
that's true. That's true.
Yeah, just because that's what people are way too into.
But he's going to win. He's going to win.
I'm with you, Marcel, in that, and maybe in this particular fight, I'll talk about it in a second. But you know, in general, I'm not saying I think your breakdown was good, but I think in general, when I hear that from people when they're breaking down a fight and being like, "Well, the UFC wants this guy to win, so he's going to win." That's a really lazy way to break down a fight, you know?
Of course, but
yeah, that's really lazy. I'm not saying you did it all, because I do agree with you on this fight. It's pretty obvious what they're doing.
You better don't say I did it.
No, I'm not at all. I heard some other guys saying that.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. You know, this fight, I think it's honestly a little bit scary, man, you know, because I'm worried about this guy's injuries, man. He gets hurt in his fights. Like, he got hurt against Cheeto. The Andre Sukumtov fight, Marcel, he hurt himself in that fight too. That fight, he didn't look that good in that fight, by the way. Like, if Sukumtov had better fight IQ,
that was crazy, man. I remember Rashad. Do you remember Rashad Evans in the how do you say that? Not in the booth, but in the studio. He is like, man, Andre, man, dude. He's like, you could have won this fight easily in the 3rd round. What did you do?
That's what I'm telling you. Like, O'Malley's like, he dusts guys that like are not good at his level. Like Quinones, like Tico Quinones is not a good fighter, Marcel. I'm sorry, right? Eddie Wineland is an aging fighter. You know, like, these are guys that he can get. Like, UFC booked him to win, and he did, because he's fighting guys that are older and just like they're chinny too, right? Almeida is chinny, and that's the concern here, because he is chinny. But I gotta be honest, these odds are kind of nuts, man. I just don't trust this guy at all, guys. After that last fight, don't get me wrong, he's a good fighter, he's a good prospect. But even, you know, like, I don't know, like, these odds just seem a little off to me. Plus 270.
I keep saying it, man. These odds are many times also formed on popularity of a fighter, man.
So this is the perfect case, 100%. Yes.
What about Kevin Hall and Derek Brunson? Same case to me as well. You know, a little bit less than this one, but same case. And
I agree with that too.
There was another one. I don't know anymore. Also recently. I mean,
no, I'm with you on that.
Angela Hill, Ashley Yoder.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there you go.
No, I'm with you on that completely. I mean, the pipe and the hype. You have to fade the hype, and you have to see the hype, right? I'm with you on the Holland fight. I mean, I think I said I capped it as a pick. I just leaned towards Holland. It was obviously a terrible pick, but you know, I didn't bet on him at minus 175. I was like, there's no way he's a big enough favorite. I just, you know, listen, O'Malley's a public darling, right? Like, you look at his odds, he's typically a big favorite. But he, you know what? I don't know, guys. I'm a little concerned he might get hurt or something again. He probably does knock Almeida out, but I don't know, man. These odds, plus 270 on Thomas Almeida, guys. He's a good striker. He's got power. Just the chin. It's tough.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I know it's tough because of the chin. And I agree. And he's getting slower too. O'Malley looked great until his leg gave out. Yeah, I agree, but isn't that concerning to people? Like that a guy that you're betting on has been hurt in numerous fights, like injured in fights. I don't know if that was really a fluke. Maybe he just has like some injury problem with his legs or ankles or whatever. If you're gonna lay the minus 320 on him, wouldn't you be a little bit afraid? I am. So I don't know. I mean, he probably does win this fight, but what do you think? He had a knockout or a decision? Like either way.
Yeah, knockout, man.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. And
TKO maybe, not maybe a KO, but TKO.
Yeah, and the fight doesn't go the distance, about 2-1. I don't think it probably goes the 3 rounds either. And Almeida, if he did win, how would you think he would win? Would it be a decision or a knockout? If Almeida
he can knock him out as well. Don't get me wrong, man. If he really touches him hard, I mean, your knockout power isn't lost after like five or 4 fights without a big win. It's not gone. But his chin is kind of gone to me, and that's a big problem here. If his chin wasn't gone, if he still had that, I might have taken a gamble on Almeida here, but I don't think the odds would have been that big if he had won against Jonathan Martinez, for example. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But,
yep.
Yeah, but that is also if he won against Jonathan Martinez, maybe the UFC didn't make this fight against Sean O'Malley. Who knows?
Yeah, for sure. Ultimately, man.
Sorry, I am with my tinfoil hat on, but hey, it is what it is,
Yeah. Anyways, yeah. I mean, listen, O'Malley's got good movement. We know that, and his striking's really good. He probably does win this fight. I'm a little concerned. I don't think I can play him. I don't think I can play him. Now, what about this next fight? The co-main event, Marcel. Vicente Luque minus 260, Tyron Woodley plus 220. So Luque is a pretty big favorite. Generally he's not a guy that's a massive favorite. Like he's a guy that's kind of a mixed bag. But this is a step up for him and a step down for Woodley. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this fight here, Marcel. Give me your thoughts on this one.
I'm pretty outspoken on this one, actually.
Okay.
So Tyron Woodley has lost 3 fights in a row. Absolutely got, I don't want to say destroyed, but absolutely got dismantled in all 3 fights. He had no chance against Usman, against Burns, against Covington, which are the top 3 in the division. Vicente Luque, he did great in his last 2 fights. He stopped Nico Price, he stopped Randy Brown, but he lost to Stephen Thompson, before. He also has a loss against Leon Edwards, and he has a loss in the UFC against Mike Grace, but that was his debut. But every time he gets a step up in competition, and a good step up in competition, he doesn't show it to me, And Tyron Woodley hasn't looked the same lately. But if you look at the fighters he lost to Kamaru Usman, he lost to Gilbert Burns, he lost to Colby Covington. If you put Vicente Luque against Colby Covington is going to win. If you put Vicente Luque against Usman, Usman's going to win. And he won't fight Burns because those are boys. So that said, I don't think he should be that big of a favorite. I understand it because how Woodley looked in his last 3 fights, pretty awful. But, man, Woodley has still the wrestling. And if Woodley can find a switch back, and I hope he can find that switch back, because the good Woodley is a great fighter for the welterweight division, Luque can knock him out. I think he can. Is he going to do it? No. I would favor Woodley in this fight via decision by wrestling. And I understand that Luque's ground game is good as well, but I expect Woodley to come back, man. 3 losses in a row. He knows this is do or die for him. If he loses this fight, maybe the UFC even cut him. I wouldn't be surprised, because Dana doesn't like him. That's a public, not a public secret or something or whatever. Everybody knows that. Dana wasn't fond of Woodley and Askren, so when he can kick him out, he will probably do when he loses 4 in a row. And I think Woodley has a pretty good paycheck in the UFC. So I'm going with Woodley in this one. He knows it's time to turn it around. Decision win for T Wood.
Interesting. I got to be honest, man. I really wanted to take him here. That was my first thought. I'm like, man, these odds are crazy. These odds don't make sense. But Woodley is just not the same guy. He really isn't. I wanted to see something, but I saw nothing in any of those fights. Got outstruck, got out wrestled, got out cardioed, backed up the whole time. He's did it throughout his career. He still has a lethal right hand, man. That's his best weapon. It's his right hand. He's knocked out a lot of guys. Josh Koscheck winning. Watching that one back, wow, it was fun. Great knockout. Dong Young Kim, Robbie Lawler. So his right hand is still incredible, right? And Luque, he hasn't been knocked out yet, but he's been touched up a lot in his fight. What, you're going to say something, Marcel?
I want to counter you with one thing. if Vicente Luque had the last 3 fights that Woodley had, what would be his record?
I don't know. I mean, probably 0-3, I would guess. But here's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what we got to talk about, though. So those are wrestlers, right? And, you'd think Woodley's a wrestler, but, man, he doesn't use his wrestling really, guys. That's the thing. I wanted to see it, but he doesn't. But, by the way, the right hand also knocked down Till, and he finished him. That was a great win. Just completely destroyed. Till didn't land a single strike in that fight.
Yeah.
You can believe it. But for me, Woodley, man, like outside the right hand, he doesn't really wrestle. He only averages 1 takedown per 50 minutes. Like, exactly. He doesn't. That's what the problem is. That's the problem, Marcel. So, yeah, he does.
Back to your basics, bro.
It could be. I mean, if he wants to stay in the UFC, he needs to win this fight. I think he'll be cut too. I agree with you completely. I can see that. I'm actually thinking I'm going to write the headline next week. Tyron Woodley released from UFC. I'm pretty sure I'm going to write this article next week because I don't think he wins this fight, man. Vicente Luque is a savage. He goes in there to kill you. He's a beast, Marcel. He's way better at striking overall. Better kicks, better overall striking outside of pure power, which Woodley I think does have on him. I would give him that. But I think his power is good. His submissions are good too. And I think his wrestling is actually decent now. I mean, it's something that's what I was really looking for to watch the takedown defense. It looks pretty good, and he's pretty good in the clinch too. And again, Woodley doesn't really shoot. Would it completely shock me if Woodley won? It wouldn't completely shock me, Marcel, because this is a spot where, that's what Daniel's saying. If Junior Frey maybe holds on to win, yeah. We've seen that a few times lately. There's like underdogs just holding fighters down and decisions or, advancing position and stuff in Frey's case. But I don't know. I mean, I just don't see it, honestly. I wanted to see it, but I don't see it, So I'm thinking Luque, but here's what I'm thinking: decision, guys. Like, I don't think he finishes Tyron Woodley. Tyron Woodley's very, very durable and very hard to finish. Colby Covington finished in the 5th round, and he injured him. I think it was a rib injury or something, but this guy went 5 rounds with Gilbert Burns. He showed a great chin throughout his career. Outside the Nate Marquardt fight where he did get brutally knocked out. That was a great fight, by the way. Amazing fight. One of the last Strikeforce cards. Amazing fight. But, yeah, I can't see Woodley. And listen, he looks good. He's in great shape for this fight. I get it. But you know what, Marcel? If he does go to his wrestling, he could win this fight. I'll tell you that. If he goes back to the basics, and maybe that's what they're going to do, just shoot for takedown right away. But I haven't seen it in him in years. He just doesn't look like the same guy. Those wars with Stephen Thompson took a toll on him, guys. He's been fighting for a long time. Another spot, Marcel, where he's also 38, turning 39, I think. Like, it's another spot, 10-year age gap, guys. You guys know I love this spot. I just wish the odds were lower on Luque. I wish it was like closer to like a pick 'em. I would love that. But yeah, I'm with you, Marcel. The odds are probably a little bit inflated because people are just completely writing off Woodley at this point. But we'll see. But I am going to pick Luque for now. Valerie says Kamaru said best he throws the overhand right with his eyes closed. Yeah, I mean, and he can land it. And Luque's been dropped. Brian Barberino, I believe, dropped him in their fight. He hurt him. Nico Price fight, he didn't get dropped, but man, he took like over 150 significant strikes, I think. Like, it was a war, right? So, and the Mike Perry fight was a war too. I mean, it could be the point where maybe Vicente Luque gets cracked in the chin, but I don't know. I'm not seeing it. All right, let's go to the main event now, Marcel. The big boys, Stipe Miocic, the firefighter. That's so cool, by the way. That he's like the full. I love it, man. You see the embedded? He's just like at the firehouse and stuff. I love it. Guy is such a beast, man. It's so funny. Someone wrote the comment like he's eating this like this. The food didn't look that good, honestly, at the firehouse. He's eating it, and Francis Ngannou in the embedded. He had this like personal chef that is making his meals now. Like it was completely different. It's hilarious, right? Like two very different guys, two very different fighters, two very great fighters. I think like two of the best heavyweights of all time. Man, this is a great fight, man. Great rematch. The first fight, as we all know, Stipe won by decision. I think most of us picked Francis that first time. Assuming you did, Marcel, the first time, or no? You can't remember, maybe, or
I picked Stipe, man.
Oh, you did. Nice job. Yeah, I know. I picked Francis because he was knocking me everywhere now. I thought he could probably knock out Stipe, but didn't get the job done. And Stipe looked amazing. And listen, Stipe is a guy. I think he's amazing. You have to respect him. But it's an interesting spot, the rematch here. He's coming in here age 38, 3 years later, Marcel. Francis coming off a 4-fight win streak here, guys. All in the first round. I think combined, the totals combined less than 5 minutes, Marcel. So he's just touching guys on the chin, putting them to sleep right away. It's pretty crazy. Then you have Stipe here, who's a very complete fighter. The odds are close, Marcel. I mean, it's been floating around like a pick 'em price right now. It seems like Ngannou's about minus 120, Stipe plus 100. So the odds are different than last time. I mean, the last time Ngannou was a pretty big favorite, like 2-1. It's basically a pick 'em fight now, so the odds are different. But What are your thoughts on this fight, Marcel? I mean, do you think it's going to go differently? You think it was the same? What are your thoughts on the UFC 260 main event?
I mean, we pretty much can see after 4 minutes what's going to happen, I think, in the first round. Either Ngannou knocks him out in the first round, or Stipe goes to wrestling. He's going to do this, trying to do the same as he did the last time. And we don't know if Ngannou has improved his ground game. We know he has a ground game, but does he have improved his wrestling? His wrestling? I don't know, man. Listen, I think the most people probably will pick Ngannou in the first round because I think Stipe is aging and he's getting older and that kind of stuff, and that Ngannou is on a streak with 4 fights stopped in the first round via KO. But this is Stipe, man. This is the best heavyweight ever in the UFC. In the UFC, I say, for me, the best ever is Fedor, but the best ever is in the UFC is definitely Stipe. And I mean, I don't have doubts in Stipe, man. Besides for the first round, he can get knocked out there. But besides that, I think he's a more complete fighter than Ngannou. And Stipe has good fight IQ overall, I think, and he will try to get this to the ground ASAP because he knows if he goes standing and he gets a shot, he will probably be out. He could take it the first time, but can he take it the second time? I don't know, man. He should be more careful, I think, this time. And maybe I'm taking a guess or a gamble here, but I'm with Stipe, man. Decision. I think he decisions him again.
Wow, there you go. So there you go. Marcel's taking Stipe Miocic to defend the title. This is obviously a tough fight to call, guys. And you look at the odds; it's close, and you're going to see people on both sides of the fence here. I mean, just natural, right? It's a heavyweight fight, more variance in heavyweight fight too. So more likelihood of someone getting randomly knocked out than in some other weight divisions. It's tough. I mean, I'm with you, Marcel, in that Stipe is the greatest heavyweight UFC history. I'm with you. You know what? I would still favor Fedor, but he's close, right? And he's amazing. I mean, he's a great fighter, man. And he's complete. He's got great boxing, really crisp hands, as you guys know, really technical boxing. And his ground game is great. His wrestling is great. Grounded pounds, nasty. He's a beast, man. He is a beast. But he's 38 now, guys. The fight was 3 years ago. He's taken a lot of damage since then. He got KO'd by Cormier. And the second fight, he was losing the fight, came back and won. Great performance. The third fight, he definitely won. But he took a lot of shots in that fight. And, Overeem dropped him too in their fight. Overeem, he tapped, right? Stipe tapped, right? That was what he said in that fight, Marcel. But he didn't. But man, I remember betting against him years ago when he fought Struve, and he knocked him out. I was surprised by that, the way he stopped him in that fight. But he's shown a good chin over the years. I just still question a little bit against a guy like Francis, who, guys, he just needs to touch you on the chin. And he puts you to sleep. The first fight, he didn't. He just mentally wasn't there. And I'm with Marcus, man. I didn't like Francis fighting Overeem in December, turning around to fight Stipe in January. This fight with a full camp and more time to probably prepare. I think Francis win the rematch. I'm kind of with you. I'm leaning towards Francis a little bit. But I'm taking a guess, right? Because I'm taking a guess that he's improved his takedown defense and that he's improved his conditioning. That's what the guess is, right? If the fight goes past the first round. Because if it goes past the first round, it's probably not going to look like a good pick. But I'll be honest, man. I think he probably knocks him out quick, Marcel. I think he touches him and finishes him. If he doesn't, he probably loses the fight. Like you said, decision. But I mean, it's a great fight. Don't get me wrong. As far as a bet goes, I have no idea what I'm going to do with this fight yet. I don't know. I mean, I might just stay away from it completely. But right now, I'm leaning towards Francis a little bit. I got to be honest. I think training in Vegas now, Marcel. He's got better. He's got a better team, better coaching. Everything's better. Stipe is great though, and if he wins, it won't surprise me. He's amazing. But I mean, like I said, you're going to see everyone different on this one, guys. Like, I expect the staff picks Marcel to be like, 5-6 or whatever, like, or 6-5, like it usually is, right, for these tough pick'em fights. But I'm leaning towards Francis. We got 5 minutes left, guys. If anyone wants to shoot questions in, throw them in. We got 5 minutes left. Daniel says Stefan Struve helping Francis prepare for the TKO against the fence. That's funny. It's a great fight, Marcel. I love it.
By the way, Georgie, the Georgian MMA media guy, he just posted that Ryan Hall is fighting Ilya Topuria on July 10.
Oh,
in
really? That's
UFC
a great fight.
264.
Yo, that
Yeah.
fight's sick, man. Really? That's a great fight. Yeah, Ryan Hall is a beast on the ground. Oh, yeah, and that Gordon Ryan guy, we talked about him yesterday. Now he's saying, like, he's like, oh, no, I'm going to do submission grappling, and then I might get an MMA. Like, that Chatru guy was a little bit, misleading in his tweet because he said he was going to go into MMA, right? Everyone's excited about it, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But like I said, Marcel, what do you want to talk about? We got 5 minutes left. Is there anything in the news today that you want to talk about?
Let me think.
Well, I will say this. I like the PFL, man. I'm really excited about their next season. I gotta say that because I think the commentary team, by the way, is amazing. With Kenny Florian now joining Randy Couture and Sean O'Connell. Sean O'Connell's really good at commentary. If you guys haven't watched PFL, you'll enjoy it. I think I love the format too. Marcus asked a question: do you think John Jones sells more fights fighting Stipe or Francis? Man, I mean that's a great question, Mark. I think they're both huge fights, Marcus. I really do, but I'm kind of with Daniel. I think Francis, just because if you look at Francis, they've always wanted him to win the title, right? Obviously, we know that. But I'll be honest, Marcel, I have too. The first time I saw him, I knew he was special, and I've always believed in him and that he can win the belt one day. I think he's going to make the right adjustments, but I mean, geez, Stipe is amazing, guys. Like he is an incredible fighter, and his resume is like really second to none in heavyweight. I remember when people used to say like Cain Velasquez was the best heavyweight of all time. Never agreed with that, by the way. He was, in my opinion, Marcel. Did you ever think he was the best?
He could have become the best, but he never
could have,
was.
exactly. He's always hurt though, right? So
yeah.
I mean, Stipe, like the names are incredible. Listen, if he wins this fight, guys, I'm not going to be surprised. He's amazing. But I just like Francis. Francis has more crossovers on a few podcasts, etc. Yeah. I think he wants to do boxing. I was reading that today. He wants to do a little bit of boxing, which is kind of weird. You see Islam Makhachev, he was talking, Marcel. He had an interview. He's not too happy Michael Chandler got the title shot. He wants to fight RDA still. You think they booked that fight, the RDA fight?
Yeah, why not? I don't think RDA minds.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm just trying to see what else. Did you see the video of James Krause giving Grant Dawson the corner advice? I don't know if you saw that. That was amazing, eh? Wow, amazing, right? But that's what you want. Kevin Holland needed that guy.
I always see it on Fight Pass. I know you guys have commercials and everything, but we can just see all the way to corners, So
yep.
That's I always like when I'm on Twitter sometimes like that's great corner advice, and then somebody's like, dude, we had commercials. How did you see that? And it's like, yeah, it's on Fight Pass over here. You probably don't see it because you guys have commercials or whatever.
Yeah. We just got these last few questions, guys. We'll get out of here. Valerie said, saw me embedded to Rothwell's on a plane for the fight this weekend. I thought that was, is it this weekend? Oh, I thought it was next week, but I guess if you saw it in the embedded, maybe he is. That's awesome. JCSO, you have Fedor, Stipe is heavy goat. I still have Fedor, but I mean, he's definitely coming back, right? Look at this. Marcus, he's going to Florida for 261. Please stay safe, man. We love you here, Marcus. Don't get sick, please. But that's amazing. The crowd's going to be sick. That's crazy. I don't think I would go personally, but I think that's amazing you're going, man. Really, I do. I missed your show yesterday. Was discussed. Thank you. Another guy that agrees with me. Yeah, that was terrible. His their corner advice was bad. There's so much bad. There's too many corners that are too many people in MMA. They're just too many. They're yes men, right? Marcel, they're always trying to give you like praise, but they never tell you what you're doing wrong. That's what you need. You need someone who's going to criticize you a little bit too. You can't just have people tell you how great you are all the time in this sport. You need people that are going to be like, you got to do this. And like, that's what Eddie Alvarez was saying about Conor McGregor the other day. He's like, Conor's got to go and like, get rid of his coaches and bring in people that are going to like make him work, Marcel, like, and be like, you're doing this and you're going to spar here. You're going to train like this instead of being the one who's the boss. Right.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Luque was acting like a fanboy. Yeah, it was embarrassing. The whole thing. And I like Travis Luque, but that was weird. Okay. That's the last question. Dan, where's your podcast to give picks bets? 4 p.m. on Elite Fantasy, Elite Betting with Duke. It's on Friday afternoons. And yeah, I mean, it is a subscription website, but I mean, it's what I've seen. It's definitely worth it. The optimizer for DFS is incredible. And then you have all the other sports too. And actually, there is someone that I know that's going to be joining the website, not in MMA, but in another sport. I can't say who it is, but if you like that person too, they're also joining this website. It's great. We'll get this last comment. Stipe must do everything perfect to win. Ngannou must have made the small adjustments. I believe he will be able to make them. I'm thinking the same thing, but we'll see. That's it for this podcast. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. That was awesome. Marcel, thanks so much again. As always, my man, you killed it. We'll see how it goes. And we had a few different picks, but mostly a lot of the same picks, Marcel. So interesting card, but a lot of pick-em fights, guys, so it could go either way. We'll see what happens. And throughout the week, hopefully these fights remain intact, no COVID issues. But I will be back Thursday with AJ Shulo, and we'll talk about any other fights that are added then. Until then, guys, have a great day. Follow me on Twitter at MMAOB right there. Big Marcel24 from Marcel. BJPen.com, MMAOddsRadio.com. My MMA news and fantasy, elite fantasy, and all those places, guys. Have a great day, everyone. Talk to you soon. Peace.